do it. They are in your reading. So you're welcome to say them along with me once we get there, or just listen and like make a movie about them. That's kind of how I prefer to do it when I'm in the student seat. Make them personalized. And then I will give you the oral transmission of the English version of the text we will be studying. And your job is to just listen and receive. And then I'll start a little bit of explanation about it. Okay, so this is how we start. So bring your attention to your breath, please. Focus on the air at your nostrils. Just keep watching with some level of fascination until you hear from me again. You don't need to sit perfectly still, just be careful and draw your mind in by using your breath. Now bring to mind that being who for you is a manifestation of ultimate love, ultimate compassion, ultimate wisdom, any tradition, a historical figure, a modern figure, an imagined figure. See them appear there with you, just by way of your thinking of them. They are gazing at you with their unconditional love for you. They are smiling at you with their holy, great compassion. Their wisdom radiates from them, a beautiful golden glow, encompassing you in its light. It feels so good to be here with them. And then we hear them say, bring to mind someone you know who's hurting in some way. Think about how much you would like to be able to help them. Think about worldly ways you've tried to help them. And maybe they work and maybe they don't. And either way, it seems the person goes on to have that distress again or something different. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could also help them in some way through which they will go on to stop their distress forever? We hope it's possible. Our teachers say it is possible. And so grow your wish that that really be possible. Grow that wish even into a longing. And maybe even into an intention. Then turn your mind back to that precious holy being before you. We know that they know what we need to know, what we need to learn, what we need to do to become one who can help this other in this deep and ultimate way. And so we ask them, please teach us that. Teach me that. And they are so happy that we've asked. Of course, they agree. Our gratitude arises. We want to offer them something exquisite. And so we think of a pure and perfect world that they are teaching us how to create. We imagine we can hold it in our hands. And we offer it to them, following it with our promise to practice what they teach us, using our refuge prayer to make the promise. Here is the great earth, filled with fragrant incense and covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, 4 lands, wearing the jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest. May I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. So you're thinking the same. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest. May I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest. May I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. All right. So open your head and allow the words of this prayer to just filter in. Try not to get distracted. Try not even really to think, like, what does it mean? We're going to learn. And so just let yourself receive. Ready? Translators ready? Okay. The source of all my good is my kind Lama, my Lord. Bless me first to see that taking myself to them in the proper way is the very root of the path, and grant me then to serve and follow them with all my strength and reverence. Bless me first to realize that the excellent life of leisure I have found just this once is ever so hard to find and ever so valuable. Grant me then to wish and never stop to wish that I could take its essence night and day. My body and the life in it are as fleeting as the bubbles in the sea froth of a wave. Bless me first thus to recall the death that will destroy me soon, and help me find sure knowledge that after I have died, the things I have done, the white or black, and what these deeds will bring to me, follow always close behind, as certain as my shadow. Grant me then ever to be careful to stop the slightest wrong of the many wrongs we do, and try to carry out instead each and every good of the many that we may. Bless me to perceive all that's wrong with the seemingly good things of this life. I can never get enough of them. They cannot be trusted. They are the door to every pain I have. Grant me then to strive instead for the happiness of freedom. Grant that these pure thoughts may lead me to be watchful and to recall what I should be doing. Grant me to give the greatest care to make the vows of morality the essence of my practice. They are the root of the Buddha's teachings. I've slipped and fallen into the sea of this suffering life. Bless me to see that every living being, every one my own mother, has fallen in too. Grant me then to practice the highest wish for enlightenment, to take upon myself the task of freeing them all. Bless me to see clearly that the wish itself is not enough. For if I am not well trained in the three moralities, I cannot become a Buddha. Grant me then a fierce resolve to master the vows for children of the victors. Grant that I may quickly gain the path where quietude and insight join together. One which quiets my mind from being distracted to wrong objects. The other which analyzes the perfect meaning in the correct way. Grant that once I have practiced well the paths shared and become a vessel that is worthy, I enter with perfect ease the way of the diamond, highest of all ways, holiest door to come inside for the fortunate and good. Bless me to know with genuine certainty that when I have entered thus, that cause that gives me both the attainments is keeping my pledges and vows most pure. Grant that I may always keep them, even at the cost of my life. Bless me next to realize precisely the crucial points of both the stages, the essence of the secret ways. Grant me then to practice as the holy ones have spoken, putting all my effort in and never leaving off the practice of the 4 times, highest that there is. Bless me, grant me, that the spiritual guide who shows me this good road and all my true companions in this quest live long and fruitful lives. Bless and grant me that the rain of obstacles, the things within me and outside me that could stop me now, stop and end forever. In all my lives, may I never live apart from my perfect lamas. May I bask in the glory of the Dharma. May I fulfill perfectly every good quality of every level and path, and reach then quickly the place where I become myself, the one who holds the diamond. All right. So the way this practice module will go is that each of these different verses has a visualization that goes with it that includes the different things to know about what that verse is trying to tell us. So my job is to explain the verses at a very beginning level and guide you through this series of visualizations that I give you the outline of, but you get to fill in the details so that it's unique to you, personalized. And then we'll build step by step until you have the whole visualization. And then by the end, we'll run through it forwards and backwards until it's familiar to you. And then we'll learn how to use it as a daily personal practice for a while, which I hope that you will find pertinent. Okay, let me go back to my screen share. What do I do to get rid of that? Yeah. Nope, that's not the one I want. Please forgive me. I'm going to stop this and start over. I want to stop it. All right, let's try this again. Screen share. This one. That one. Okay, I won't touch anything else. What I want to point out is this Tibetan. So please repeat after me, even though you're muted. Yunten, Shir, Yorma, Lamrim. Got it? Yunten, Shir, Girma, Lamrim. Lamrim means steps on the path, but it's code for steps, the realizations necessary to progress in our spiritual life from suffering being to fully enlightened being. So each lam, each step is it is a certain practice, but what they mean by lamrim is gaining a realization from that practice. So a realization means something that we haven't experienced as true before. And then something happens and now we know it is true. So to make real, to have some kind of experience that makes something real is what we mean by steps on the path to Buddhahood. It's not just the things we do. It's the realizations that we gain. Generally, full-on realizations happen in a deep state of meditation. But even outside of meditation, we will come to realize things that we didn't know before that will help us gain the realizations from our meditation cushion. So this Yonten Shigirma, Yonten means good qualities. And Shigirma means the source of those good qualities. So as I said before, this prayer has gained the title, the source of all my good, because its first lines in Tibetan is Yonten Shigirma. And then they give it the Lam Rim clarification, which is what tells us it's a text that we're studying about those realizations that we want to cultivate. Yonten Shigirma is the name of the prayer we're studying. It was written by Lobsang Drakpa Jetsong Kapa. Lobsang Drakpa is his monk's name. Jetsong Kapa is his title that developed throughout his lifetime. Tsongkhapa means the guy from that area of Tibet called Tsongkha. And J means Lord. So it's an honorific, like saying, oh, Mr. Penang, right? Oh, Mr. Moscow. But everybody seems to know him by this name even more than Lobsang Drakpa. And his dates 1357 to 1419. I like to think of other historical things that were going on in the rest of the world at that time and sort of compare. Tibet, is ringed by huge mountains. So they're pretty insular. And then what was going on in the rest of the world in the 1400s? I think we were pretty far off base. So Jetsong Kapa, he wrote voluminously and he debated voluminously and he taught voluminously. And he did not have the ALL database to draw from for his information. So how did he manage to write all that? How did he manage to gain so many realizations? And they say his main practice is the practice called Suldep. So in the Tibetan, when you see this apostrophe before a D, what it means is the prenasal sound, which means if you were to write it out, it would look like this. And it sounds like Sumdep. Can you hear it come out my nose? Sumdep. Sumdep is the practice of just begging for blessings. You imagine your holy being in front of you, and you say over and over again, either in your mind or out loud, please bless me with what I need to know. Please bless me with whatever. Please bless me with patience. Please bless me with wisdom. Please bless me to get along with my mother-in-law better. Please bless me. And it seems weird because many of the people that I know in the Dharma had rejected those religions where you go to somebody else and say, bless me. Right? We were looking for something that taught us how to do it ourselves. Thank you very much. And here's a tradition that teaches us how to do it ourselves and still relies upon asking for blessings. We will learn in the course of the curriculum that that being can't give us blessings, which is why we can receive blessings if we ask. And even sometimes when we don't ask, it's a conundrum. So in the context of this particular text, Lama Tsongkhapa was having trouble understanding emptiness. And he went to a particular monastery to do retreat. That monastery had a big statue of Lord Atisha. And he sat in front of that statue of Lord Atisha and did this begging for blessings practice. Please bless me to understand. Please bless me to grow my love and compassion. Please bless me. Bless me, bless me, bless me. And as the story goes, the lineage lamas appeared to him one by one and did, in fact, bless him with understanding and wisdom. How that really works, I don't begin to understand. But when his retreat was finished, he sat down and wrote the Lamrim Chenmo, which is the longest Lamrim teaching that's ever been written. And within that Lamrim Chenmo is this 14-verse synopsis of what the whole Lamrim Chenmo is talking about. That source of all my good traditionally is not taken out of the Lamrim Chenmo and taught separately. But as the teachings were handed down and passed along, at some point, Pabonka Rinpoche, who we know from studying the Lamrim course, Liberation Thrust in the Palm of Our Hand, he used this prayer as the outline for a teaching that he was giving to a set of his students who were preparing to enter into the Diamond Way. And it's traditional that once those students have asked for Diamond Way and the teacher sees them as qualified, that the teacher takes them again through the Lamrim training to make sure that it's fresh in their minds before entering the higher teachings. So one of the times Pabonka Rinpoche did that, he used this text as his teaching outline, and his students took notes on that teaching, and those notes got passed along and eventually came into the hands of Geshe Michael from the current Pabonka Rinpoche's reincarnation. And then Geshe Michael and Ken Rinpoche used those notes in order to write a text called Preparing for Tantra, which is your reading. And that's this explanation, commentary on the source of all my good that Pabonka Rinpoche gave to his students all those years ago. So Pabonka Rinpoche's dates 1878 to 1941. Oops. Typo. He was part of the Drebun College of Sarahni Monastery. Ken Rinpoche is part of the Drebun College of Sarahni Monastery. Geshe Michael is part of Drebun College Sarahni Monastery. And so any of Geshe Michael's students are connected to Drebun College of Sarahni Monastery And so we see this very authentic lineage, and technically we can track it back further, although I can't do that over the top of my head. Okay, the last background comment now is these two words, Lungjung and Lungdok. So please say Lungjung and Lungdok. Lung, the word can mean wind or prana. It also means the spoken word. So here it means the spoken word of sharing the prayer, sharing the teachings with you. And one can teach a prayer like this in the forward order, which is called Lungjung, or in the backward order called Lungdok. When we teach in the forward order, it means first you do this, and then you do that, and then you do that. Get it? In the backward order, it's here's the result. What did we have to do to get there? And then what did we have to do to get to that one? And what did we have to do to get to that one? Working our way back to the first steps. So this prayer, if we work from the goal to the start, then the teaching has a different impact on our mind than if we start from the beginning and work our way back. And it has to do with recognizing the reality of the goal rather than thinking the goal is somewhere far away. So although it's a little bit confusing, I'm going to do the same thing. Start at the back and we'll work our way to the front. So in your reading, the reading, I believe, starts from the front and works your way back. So you'll have to find in your reading the verses that I'm talking about with each class. I think it's not quite organized the same way, but it will be clear. It's not clear now, probably. All right, let's get rid of this so I can see your faces. So this course is about learning this visualization practice that you can use as a review meditation to deeply get familiar with what it takes to go from suffering being to fully enlightened being, assuming that that's what you want. And even if you're not sure that that's what you want, please just consider that maybe someday you will want it. And let's plant the seeds. So that means that we're also learning to meditate, not in the sense of the stillness meditation, but in the sense of one of the three methods of meditation, which is the review meditation. And this tradition suggests that before we do any kind of meditation, that we do the warm-ups for meditation. And these warm-ups, they may or may not seem like they do anything for that day's meditation. But the seeds that we plant in our mind by doing the warm-up grow and add power to each other so that our meditation practice can actually grow. So it's important to learn the preliminaries and train ourselves to do them. The preliminaries themselves can be a whole meditation session, but when we use them as preliminaries, they should only take 10 minutes max. So if I'm assigning you a 10-minute meditation session, that doesn't include the preliminary, right? You do your preliminaries and then 10 more minutes. Okay. So I'm going to guide us through the meditation preliminaries. Don't feel like you need to take notes. We're going to do it every single time. So by the end, you'll be familiar and it'll be on the recording. The details of meditation practice come in ACI course 3. So not to worry. Here, put your body in just a comfortable position that you can hold for 20 minutes without being too fidgety. But if you have to move, move. Okay, don't torture yourself now. Okay, so we always start by watching our breath. Technically, anywhere your breath is most prominent, we can use as a beginning. And the idea is for your mind to shift gears from outer world to inner world, and the boundary between outer and inner can be our breath, very sweetly. So with a sense of fascination, just focus on that breath, counting out and in as 1, then 2. And we'll try to do 10 breaths in a row without getting distracted. If you're like me, you'll get to 3 and be thinking about something else. When you recognize it, go back and start at 1. And it doesn't matter if you never actually get to 10. Just practice. Fascinated attention to that breath. Okay, ready? Go. Now you intentionally shift from your breath to the first preliminary, which is refuge, taking refuge. Think of what you understand about how your behavior towards others creates the causes for your future experience. And think about how that can protect us from future suffering if we refuse to contribute to the suffering of others in our behavior to the best of our ability. Living by karma and emptiness is our protection, our source of refuge. Think it through a few times. And then make a plan for an act of refuge. Think of some difficult situation you are likely to encounter tomorrow. Maybe somebody's going to yell at you. And recognize how you respond in that situation creates future experience. And make a plan to not do your natural reaction, whether it's yelling back or don't know what else. Decide on some other behavior. Because you want to stop all yelling people forever. Imagine actually doing your more kind response in that event. The next preliminary is called generating our bodhicitta, meaning generating our wish to be able to help others in that deep and ultimate way, a way through which they will go on to stop their distress forever. Think about someone you know who's struggling in some way. And think of how wonderful it would be if you could say or do something through which they would come to the aha that their own behavior responses are the source of their happiness or distress. Grow that feeling in your chest I really, really want to be able to do that someday for them. Then turn your mind again to that precious holy being you invited before you at the beginning of class. See them there. See them as a living being, smiling at you, happy with you. Seeing how special you are. Think about just one of their special good qualities that you see and admire in them. Feel that admiration. Feel your aspiration to become like that. And tell them, you are so amazing in this way and other ways. I really, really want to become like you so that I can help everyone in my world the way you help those in your world. Ask them, please help me to do it. The next step is making offerings. Traditionally, you offer them beautiful flowers, incense, lamps of light, exquisite sunsets. But what they like best is to hear you tell them something about your practice. Tell them that that person was yelling at you, and because you understand karma and emptiness a little bit, I managed to not yell back for 3 or 4 minutes. And see them so, so happy with your effort. The next step is to clean our heart of some negativity. So now you think of something recent that you thought or said or did that planted seeds in your mind that when they ripen will be unpleasant for you. Think of the situation. Think of why you reacted that way. Recognize the seeds planted will come back unpleasantly. Generate your regret. Tell that precious guide, I was just mistaken. Now I know better. I will do this practice session as my antidote and establish some power of restraint, meaning a determination to not repeat that behavior in a similar situation in a very specific time frame, something that you know you can actually keep. And so you tell them your plan. And know that once you complete your plan, those seeds will be damaged. Next, we do some rejoicing. Think of some goodness that you saw someone else do. Know that to see someone else's goodness is your own seeds ripening, your own goodness manifesting, and be happy with that other's goodness. Think of another of your own kindnesses that you did recently. Tell the teacher about that with a sense of healthy pride. And tell them another one. Either your own goodness or something you saw someone else do. Geshe-la says, don't go on from this preliminary until you are grinning. Feeling happy with yourself. So whether you feel it or not, please grin so we can go on. The next step is asking for teachings, where you just say to them, please continue to teach me formal classes, informal teachings. Help me to hear and see everything as an opportunity for you to be teaching me. And then ask them to stay close to you. Ask them to help all the Dharma teachers, the spiritual teachers, to live long lives, to have many students, to have the resources they need to share with those students. Ask them to stay until every being has reached their enlightenment. And again, see how happy they are with you. And dedicate this goodness that we've done just in the preliminaries to some goodness that you would like to see in yourself come about. Maybe dedicating to improved anger management or greater generosity, something you've been working on. Good. Now you can shift and wiggle. And I want to introduce you to the first visualization. So settle back in, close your eyes and listen. You find yourself in this courtyard, a beautiful courtyard within a beautiful building, a central courtyard. It has gardens, maybe a pond and fountain. The interior of the building has a veranda all around it. The sun is shining like a spotlight into the middle of this courtyard. And in the middle of that spot of sunlight is where you are. You are a totally enlightened being, a manifestation of perfect love, perfect compassion, perfect wisdom. Your physical body looks physical, looks human, and it's made of rainbow light. Exquisitely beautiful, strong, supple, flawless. It's made of millions and millions of virtues. Ripening. Your clothing, if you're wearing clothing, is exquisite. Jewels glistening. Whatever age you would like, whatever ethnicity, now try to imagine your mind, your enlightened being mind. Perfect happiness, loving all of existence, every being equally, knowing the unnecessariness of their suffering. Radiant, radiant love. Free of the slightest mental affliction. And spontaneously emanating to countless other places, countless other worlds, being what every being needs. Maybe a puppy, maybe a traffic jam to prevent them from that car accident. Anything and everything, all the while you are in this courtyard. Just imagine what it will be like. Now bring your attention back to your body in this room, to that holy being before you. And think of the goodness that we've done with your motivation to be able to help that other in that deep and ultimate way. And so we've done a great goodness. Think of this goodness like a beautiful glowing gemstone that you can hold in your hands. Recall that precious holy guide before you. Ask them to please stay, to continue to teach you and guide you. And then offer them this gemstone of goodness. See them accept it and bless it. And they carry it with them right back into your heart where they came from. That holy of holies in the middle of your chest. Feel them there. Like a tiny shining light. Love, compassion, wisdom. It feels so good, we want to keep it forever. And so we know to share it. By the power of the goodness that we've just done, may all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom may. So use 3 long exhales to share this goodness with that one person, to share it with everyone you love, to share it with every being in existence everywhere. See them all filled with happiness, filled with kindness. They don't know where it comes from, and it doesn't matter. And may it be so. All right. So please forgive me for going 3 minutes over. And please think about this meditation, right? Just this very first part. You're enlightened you in that courtyard somewhere. Okay? Explore it between now and Monday. And then we'll learn how we got there. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grandma. Take
Bye.
care.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Gracias. Gracias. Bien.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.